kids, how are you? It is great to be with you all here in GFC Kids World. You know, I got to ask right up front, do you sometimes wake up and you just know it's going to be a great day? Well, listen, God is doing some great things here at Grace Fellowship Church and in GFC Kids World, and I can't wait to see what's in store for us today. And this month, we're talking about responsibility. Now, hopefully, this being our third week in this series, you've kind of got the definition of it down, but just in case, let's throw it up on the screen, all right? Responsibility is showing that you can be trusted with whatever is expected of you. You know, what are some things that you're responsible for? Think about it for a minute. What are some things that you are responsible for? Let's see, maybe brushing your teeth. Yeah. Going to bed at a certain time, that's probably something that's your responsibility. Oh, putting your dirty clothes in the hamper and not leaving them lying around on the floor, that would be a good responsibility. Oh yeah, and for some of us, homework. Ooh, yeah. So when you think about it, we all have a lot of different responsibilities in our life. And the more we keep up with our responsibilities, the more people will begin to trust you and I. But we'll talk more about that a little bit later on. I think right now it's time for some fun, don't you? Great. We have a really fun game today, and if you're up for it right now, let's do this. It's a trivia game, so let's put our heads together and play a game of Star Wars or God's Word. Here we go. Well, you know what? That was kind of tough. I never really realized how many Star Wars lines sounded like they were straight out of the Bible. Well, listen, I don't know about you right now, but I know I am personally excited and ready to get up on my feet and sing some praise and worship to God. I hope you are too. So let's all stand up on our feet and let's praise Him together.
You never turn away, you never leave my side. And every time I call your name out just to find that you're already right here with me, never been alone. I can trust you with my heart, 'cause this I know. You are always faithful, you love me from the start. trust you with my heart. There are days when I feel I need a friend, and then I hear your voice reminding me again that you're already right here with me, never been alone. I can trust you with my heart, 'cause this I know. You are always faithful, you love me from the start. No matter what I'm facing, I will trust you with my heart. You are more than able to lead me through the dark. Your love is never failing, I will trust you with my heart. Whoa, whoa, I will trust you with my heart. No matter what may come, no matter what I go through, God, you are never gonna fail me. I will trust you with my heart. No matter what may come, no matter what I go through, God, you are never gonna fail me. I will trust you with my heart. You are always faithful, you love me from the start. No matter what I'm facing, I will trust you with my heart. You are more than able to lead me through the dark. Your love is never failing, I will trust you with my heart. Whoa, whoa, I will trust you with my heart. Whoa, whoa, I will trust you with my heart. Whoa, whoa, I will trust you with my heart.
Hey, great job on that song. Well, listen, let's have a word of prayer, and then we're going to sing one more song, have one more game, and then we'll get into the lesson, all right? Let's bow our heads together. Lord Jesus, God, we thank you for the day. We thank you for loving us. We thank you for saving us. And we thank you for giving us this platform to spend some time with these amazing boys and girls here in GFC Kids World. So today, God, as always, I need your help just as much today as I did last week. I need your words so that we can clearly communicate to the kids this important lesson about responsibility. And God, I pray that you'll speak to their hearts today and that they'll understand it, not just for the day, but for the coming week. And they'll understand how to actually put it in action in their own life. God, we ask you to continue to be with our church as we are, Lord, the building progress over at 325 is going fantastic, and it just seems like every day we're gaining momentum, we're gaining more momentum, and we're getting excited about getting over there. But God, we just put all of this in your hands. We're trusting you to guide us in each and every decision that's yet to be made over there. We ask you to be with Pastor Roy and our leaders, that you'll continue to give us your wisdom as decisions are being made almost on a daily basis there. But God, again, we just want to tell you thank you for loving us and saving us. And we're going to sing one more song. It's just our way of praising you and worshiping you and telling you how much we love you. And then we ask you to be in the lesson. And we ask all of these things in your name. Amen. All right, kids, up on your feet. We've got one more song, one more game, and then the lesson.
Before the day I took a breath, you had a plan for my every step. You promised to always be by my side. I believe that you are the way, you are the truth, you are the light. So I sing this to you. You keep your promises every day. I will believe in everything that you say. Yeah, in the dark I know you're making a way. Jesus, I will trust you. You're always good at everything that you do, and I know everything that you say is true. And every moment you are leading me through. Jesus, I will trust you. I wanna be honest and true and do what's right the way you do. You're teaching me to take a stand and live for you, 'cause I believe that you are the way, you are the truth, you are the light. So I sing this to you. You keep your promises every day. I will believe in everything that you say. Yeah, in the dark I know you're making a way. Jesus, I will trust you. You're always good
Well, that was fun. I hope you enjoyed it. Well, listen, today I want to share a really important rule for life written by a man named Solomon. Now, we've talked about him before here in GFC Kids World, but King Solomon, he told us some really great ways to go about living a life of responsibility. Now, Solomon, he was young when he first became ruler of Israel after his father. You remember who his father was, right? Yeah, King David. See, one night, God spoke to Solomon in a dream, and he told Solomon to ask for anything that he wanted. You know what Solomon asked for? Wisdom. I know, right? Wisdom? Not a PS5, not a huge pile of money, not even a never-ending supply of Chick-fil-A nuggets with Chick-fil-A sauce. Nope, just wisdom. And sure enough, God gave him wisdom, and Solomon, he became known as one of the wisest people who ever lived. He shared many wise sayings that are collected in the book of Proverbs in our Bibles. Now, the proverb that I want to read today explains why it is important for us to work hard. Now, listen to this. It's in Proverbs chapter 6, verse 6, 7, and 8. It says, "You people who don't want to work, think about the ant. Consider its ways and be wise. It has no commander, it has no leader or ruler, but it stores up its food in summer, it gathers its food at harvest time." I mean, it makes sense, right? Ants do work hard. Have any of you ever seen an anthill before? Like maybe in your yard or a park? If you watch an anthill, you'll see that the ants are always hard at work. They're always coming and going from their home. All summer long, they go out and collect food and bring it back to their hill to store for winter. And remember, no one tells them to collect food. Ants don't have a boss or teacher or coach giving them a set of rules. They work hard because it's how they're made. If ants were lazy, they wouldn't survive. Now, some versions of this particular verse that we just read talk about a sluggard. In the New International Version, it says, "Go to the ant, you sluggard, consider its ways and be wise." Now, a sluggard is someone who doesn't work hard. Solomon was comparing the ant who works hard to a lazy person. He wasn't talking about an actual slug, okay? Solomon was comparing people who work hard to people who are lazy. He was saying that we can learn a lot from people or ants who work hard. So let's take a minute or two here. Let's talk about a couple of different scenarios. Scenario number one, your mom asks you to clean your room. What do you do? Well, if I was going to be like the ant, I would probably start by taking any dirty dishes I had to the kitchen. I wouldn't want to attract any bugs in my room after all. Then I'd put my dirty clothes in the laundry basket instead of just leaving them lying all over the floor. My toys would go on the shelves or wherever they belong. I'd vacuum the floor. Oh, and I'd make sure my bed was made. Yep, and perhaps if I had time, I'd clean the bathroom too. I mean, my mom didn't ask, but I'm sure she would appreciate it. That's what I would do if I was the ant. But what if I were going to be like the sluggard? Well, I think I'd probably start by asking something like, well, if I clean my room, what do I get out of it? What's in it for me? Do I get more screen time? Or more allowance? To be honest, I'd probably just push everything under my bed, and whatever didn't fit, I'd hide it in my closet. Then I would probably eat some cookies in my bed. So, which one do you think made the better choice, the ant or the sluggard? Well, some of you might think the sluggard is onto something, but I'm going to tell you the wise choice here was made by the ant. Now, let's look at another scenario. Your math teacher encourages you to complete a worksheet on your own time at home. What do you do? Again, your math teacher wants you to complete a worksheet on your own time at home. What do you do? Well, let's see. If I were the ant, I would start on the worksheet as soon as I got home. Before I even played Animal Crossing or Minecraft, I'd show my work and write out how I got the answers. I'd also ask my friends if they needed any help. But what if I were like the sluggard? I'd probably lie around all night, and then the next morning I'd give my best guess at the answers on the worksheet. Maybe. So, which one do you think made the better choice, the ant or the sluggard? Well, again, the sluggard, that may sound like some of you some of the times, and that may sound like it's more fun, but honestly, once again, the ant made the wise choice. Okay, last scenario. Your teacher asked everyone to help move some chairs for an event later in the day. Well, I believe if I were the ant, I would move the chairs and ask if there was anything else that we could do to help prepare for the event. So yeah, that's what I would do. But if I were the sluggard, I'd be like, yeah, that's a hard pass for me. Moving just isn't my forte. So again, consider the ant and the slug. Who's the harder worker? That's right, it's the ant. Just like Solomon wrote in his proverb, the ant doesn't need a reward for working hard. The ant does the hard work just because. The slug, on the other hand, the sluggard, well, not so much. You know, just like the ant, we can choose. We can choose to work hard and do our best. And that's a great way to be responsible. We should work hard to keep our rooms clean and help around the house. We can work hard at listening to our teachers, doing our best on our assignments, and obeying the rules in the classroom. We can work hard at being a good friend, helping others, and showing God's love every day. God has given us everything we need to be responsible. We can do that by working hard, and that's what we need to remember today. It's a great rule for life. It's 2 words, work hard. Yep, it's just that simple. Be like an ant. Don't be like the sluggard.
The Bible. It's 66 books of history, stories, letters, and poetry that fit together to form God's one big story. The epic adventure of how He created us and loves us so much that He made a way to rescue us. As we travel through the Bible, from Genesis to Revelation, we discover people who met God and found their lives changed forever. Now, for an amazing story, inspired by the book of Proverbs, chapter 6, verses 6 through 8.
King Solomon was young when he became ruler of Israel after his father David. One night, God spoke to him in a dream.
Ask for anything you want me to give you.
What? Solomon had just been given the greatest gift of all time. He could have asked for anything. Unlimited money, the power to defeat all of his enemies, or even to be the best-loved, longest-living king of all time. Instead, though, Solomon made a different ask.
Lord, you have now made me king, but I'm only a little child. I don't know how to carry out my duties, so give me a heart that understands. Then I can rule over your people. I can tell the difference between what is right and what is wrong.
Solomon asked for wisdom, and God gave it to him. In fact, Solomon became known as the wisest man to ever live. Over the course of his life, he shared many wise sayings that were later recorded in the book of Proverbs.
These sayings are to help people do what is just and fair, to help young people learn wisdom. Only fools refuse to listen and learn.
The wisdom recorded in Proverbs gives godly advice about nearly everything, from using words wisely to staying away from trouble. But the most famous passages talk about the value of hard work.
You people who don't want to work, think about the ant. Consider its ways and be wise. It has no commander, it has no leader or ruler, but it stores up its food in summer. It gathers its food at harvest time.
When was the last time you paid attention to an ant, other than the one that you were going to squash on the kitchen floor? To better understand what Solomon means about work, well, I think it's time we take a closer look. Did you know that there are about 1 million ants on Earth for every single human? Yikes! My skin is crawling right now. But just look at how amazing these little guys are. Like Solomon said, nobody lays out a set of rules for them. Nobody offers them an allowance or more screen time if they finish their work. God made them in such an incredible way that they stick with it and get the job done. In fact, some ants can lift up to 50 times their own weight. If you were that strong, you could lift an entire car. And ants use that super strength to store up their food, just like we see in Proverbs. And ants also work smart. They leave a special trail of chemicals called pheromones that tells them where they've been so they don't get lost or repeat themselves. And ants are incredibly creative. They actually farm aphids in order to have a constant supply of the honeydew aphids release. And the ants' creativity doesn't stop there. In times of flooding, ants will even protect the queen by forming a lifeboat with their own bodies. Just like Solomon reminds us, ants do whatever it takes to gather up the food they need and to protect their colony. They know how to get the job done, and that's with only about 250,000 brain cells. But you? God made you with 10 million brain cells. He's given you everything you need to work strong, smart, and creatively. And because God has given us so much, there's so much more we can do. In the New Testament, Luke records some of Jesus' words.
Much will be required of everyone who has been given much.
You are creative and strong. You have a brain that works like no one else's. You are determined. And most of all, you are created in God's image. That means that you can work hard at whatever it takes to show love to God and the people He's made. Sometimes that might look like helping raise funds to provide clean water for kids on the other side of the world. Sometimes that might look like cleaning your room before your mom has to remind you 5 times. Or working hard to help your little sister to build an epic Lego palace. Whatever your work, remember Solomon's wisdom.
You people who don't want to work, think about the ant. Consider its ways and be wise. It has no commander, it has no leader or ruler, but it stores up its food in summer. It gathers its food at harvest time.
Be wise. Work hard. God has given you everything you need to follow through.
You know, let's be honest. It's easy to be lazy. It's easy to do just enough to get by. But see, God expects more from us. He wants us to give our very best. And again, this is a great rule that we can follow our entire life. Work hard. Yeah, listen, Solomon, he certainly thought that was important, and he was one of the wisest people who ever lived. Jesus showed us what hard work looks like as well. I mean, after all, he came to give his life for us. He lived a perfect life and fulfilled his purpose. He's always giving his best to serve other people. Now that should make us want to show love to others, tell people about the amazing things Jesus has done. It should make us want to clean our rooms and do our best on our homework too. Now, our memory verse for this month is very much something that goes along with this subject of responsibility. It's Luke chapter 16, verse 10. Let's say it all together. Suppose you can be trusted with something very little, then you can also be trusted with something very large. Hey, that was pretty good, but let's do it one more time. We're going to say the reference, and then we will say the verse together, okay? 1, 2, 3. Luke 16:10. Suppose you can be trusted with something very little, then you can also be trusted with something very large. You know, when you work hard with something small, you never know. You might end up with an even bigger responsibility and a chance to make an even bigger difference. So don't wait for someone to tell you to do something. Don't wait for your mom to ask you to clean your room or empty the trash. Just work hard and always give your best effort. Well, kids, I am so glad we got to hang out today. Thanks for being here. But you know the routine. Right hand up in the air, high five. I will see you next week.